Let's talk about the fact that Democrats have been labeling President Trump a to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to one of the worst mass in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political that has led to 2 heinous attempts on President Trump's life that, by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father, Dick Cheney, have got this country into is not political. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young Americans to for decades.
This time, Joy Behar truly went too far, and there's no going back. She shocked viewers with a comment on a recent episode of The View that sparked accusations of overt sexism and incited outrage from people of all political persuasions. The longtime co-host made fun of Karoline Leavitt, the 27-year-old press secretary for Donald Trump, suggesting that her appearance was the only reason she was hired and that her credentials were unimportant. She's a 10 in Donald Trump's estimation, so I believe she's likely been included, Behar joked. She spoke in a condescending manner. Both left and right viewers were incensed at Behar's blatant hypocrisy for reducing a young, accomplished political strategist to nothing more than her physical appearance, while claiming to support female empowerment. The response was swift and harsh. This was an insult to every woman who has battled to be acknowledged for her talent, intelligence, and diligence. It wasn't just a cheap shot at Leavitt. Backlash erupted on social media, with many people swiftly pointing out how Behar's remark directly went against everything The View professes to support. The outrage was perfectly summed up by one Twitter user. Joy Behar claims that Karoline Leavitt was hired based solely on her appearance. Isn't this the exact sexism that The View purports to oppose? The irony was unavoidable, but Leavitt's handling of the situation was what truly made this controversy stand out. Many anticipated that she would dismiss Behar's sexist remark or steer clear of conflict entirely, but she did the exact opposite. She didn't merely reply with composure, assurance, and objective facts. She totally dismantled Behar's unfounded accusation. Behar chose the wrong person this time, even though she believed she could get away with making a cheap, condescending comment. Leavitt was prepared, and the subsequent events left the audience frantically trying to repair the damage. Behar said, "I believe she's likely been included because Donald Trump says she's a 10, initiating a flurry of criticism that went well beyond conservative circles. The uproar focused on the person who made the remark rather than just the comment itself." Longtime supporter of feminism and female empowerment, Behar had just minimized a young, successful woman to her appearance. People from all political persuasions refused to overlook the obvious hypocrisy. Behar's comment was a slap in the face to all women who have put in the effort to establish a career based on their abilities, intelligence, and commitment. It wasn't just an insult directed at Leavitt. It was upsetting to hear a self-described feminist disparage another woman in such a shallow manner in a time when women are still struggling to be taken seriously in the media, business, and political spheres. Critics were quick to point the finger at her. How could someone who professes to support women's accomplishments publicly disparage another woman on such trivial grounds? Social media erupted in condemnation, and the backlash was swift and extensive. The annoyance was aptly expressed by one Twitter user. Joy Behar claims that Karoline Leavitt was hired based solely on her appearance. This is the exact sexism that The View purports to oppose, isn't it? Karoline Leavitt didn't take the insult lying down, even though it was hard to ignore the irony, and Behar's supporters were nowhere to be seen. Many thought she would try to avoid the controversy or ignore Behar's sexist remark. She decided on a different strategy instead, one that caught The View off guard. Leavitt did more than simply reply. She methodically refuted Behar's charge with tact, intelligence, and unquestionable assurance. She arrived prepared with facts, poise, and a refusal to be intimidated, rather than using cheesy comebacks or emotional outbursts. By the time she was done, Behar appeared weaker than Leavitt did. Even Whoopi Goldberg, who frequently jumps to the defense of her co-hosts, seemed momentarily taken aback by Leavitt's strong reply. Additionally, Leavitt remained firm and refused to allow the panel to divert or skew the conversation when Goldberg tried to interrupt. It was a powerful moment, not just a refreshing one. People took notice right away, and Leavitt's poise was praised on social media, and the accolades that had been given to her piece included "Let her walk on the velvet key." It was hailed by many as one of the most forceful and decisive takedowns in mainstream television politics in years. It was obvious that Leavitt would not tolerate bullying and would not allow The View to continue to operate with such hypocrisy. Leavitt didn't stop at self-defense, though. She completely reversed the trend and exposed The Viewpoint's lengthy history of hypocrisy in favoring women. She pointed out that although The View likes to say that they are all about empowering women, they denigrate women in the exact manner they claim to oppose the moment they don't share their leftist views. Her remarks struck a deep chord because they were unquestionably accurate. This wasn't merely a casual remark, rather, it was a direct challenge to the show's legitimacy. Leavitt drew attention to a glaring pattern of conduct, pointing out that The Viewpoint had employed similar strategies against other conservative women, such as Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kayleigh Manon. The hosts of the show repeatedly disparaged and attacked women who didn't fit their political stereotype, demonstrating that their so-called feminism was at best selective. Leavitt made viewers reevaluate whether The Viewpoint genuinely supports all women or just those who share their politics by pointing out this obvious double standard. This was evident from the overwhelming online support for Leavitt. It's evident that a large number of people recognize The Viewpoint for what it is, a platform that purports to support women while discrediting those who dared to think differently. Then, when Whoopi Goldberg went on a full-fledged tirade about wokeness, the situation became more heated. Not only did she lose her temper, but she also utterly lost control of the conversation, causing it to descend into chaos. Goldberg brought up a quote from one of Karoline Leavitt's earlier interviews during the debate. "There won't be any wokeness here." Goldberg was offended by that remark and responded with a furious tirade, vehemently stating that wokeness has been crucial to the advancement of society. However, she missed an important point in her emotional outburst. Wokeness has increasingly turned into a divisive ideology that frequently divides rather than brings people together. Instead of having a fruitful discussion about the contemporary ramifications of wokeness, Goldberg adopted a patronizing tone, suggesting that Leavitt, ironically, by doing this, Goldberg demonstrated the very issue that wokeness's detractors frequently raise, that it can come across as exclusive, contemptuous, and unwilling to consider different viewpoints. However, the consequences of this incident were immediate and extensive. It wasn't just another contentious discussion on The View. Despite their best efforts to undermine Leavitt, Goldberg and her co-hosts ended up making a fool of themselves. A social media firestorm was sparked when video of Joy Behar's sexist remarks and Leavitt's composed, fact-based response went viral in a matter of hours. Users from both the left and the right attacked The Viewpoint on all platforms for its obvious hypocrisy and bias. Even political opponents of Leavitt acknowledged that Behar's remarks were improper and commended Leavitt for his cool-headed and astute handling of the matter. However, the controversy swiftly spread beyond social media, with numerous outlets bringing attention to The View's most recent scandal and its escalating credibility problems. The environment behind the scenes at ABC grew more tense as the criticism increased. Insider sources claim that ABC executives are becoming more and more irritated with Joy Behar's actions after being caught off guard by the backlash. According to reports, her spot on the show might now be in jeopardy. According to an insider, ABC's management is seriously considering whether Behar is worth retaining given the frequent PR catastrophes her comments cause. The View has always been known for its controversy, but there's a thin line between igniting discussion and alienating viewers. ABC is aware that they have made a huge mistake this time. However, this dispute draws attention to a much more significant change in the media environment of today. This is about a shift in how the public views legacy media, not just about one problematic episode or one divisive statement. Why was this a particularly important situation? Was Karoline Leavitt the recipient of the unforeseen outpouring of support? Social media was flooded with comments from viewers who, despite their ideological differences, respected Leavitt's tenacity, even from those who typically disagree with her politically. The message was unambiguous. People are fed up with biased stories, obvious hypocrisy, and media personalities who won't take responsibility for their actions. The View believed they were determining the course of events. Rather, the world was watching as they ultimately revealed their own prejudice. Many noted that Joy Behar's remarks were offensive to all women attempting to succeed in fields that are dominated by men, not just Karoline Leavitt. According to one commentator, the bipartisan backlash betrays a deeper dissatisfaction with media outlets such as The View, which profess to support women's empowerment but frequently denied conservative women that support. Behar's obvious hypocrisy was too obvious for even a few prominent liberal commentators to overlook. To put it plainly, you don't have to agree with Karoline Leavitt to see that it's disgusting to minimize her accomplishments to her appearance. What was Behar really thinking? For viewers who are fed up with the double standards of the mainstream media, this was more than just a victory for Leavitt. As Leavitt's popularity grew, anarchy broke out at ABC's back office. According to insiders, network executives are currently frantically trying to contain the fallout, and the person at the center of it all, Joy Behar, after being caught completely off guard by the backlash. According to rumors, ABC's top executives are seriously considering whether it would be worthwhile to keep Behar on the show given the constant controversy she causes. Although The Viewpoint thrives on contentious debate, there is a thin line separating sparking conversation from alienating the audience entirely. And at this moment, Behar is perilously close to they've gone overboard this time. The ratings and views have already started to decline, and this controversy only makes matters worse. Businesses are beginning to worry about whether the show is still the best venue for promoting their brands. According to an insider, ABC executives are seriously considering a significant shakeup because they are tired of having to constantly clean up these PR calamities. Is Joy Behar's time on The View coming to an end? However, this is only one hope. It's a component of a much larger problem. The Karoline Leavitt controversy revealed a pattern that is all too familiar. Is what transpired with her on The View not a singular incident? It exemplifies the way conservative women are treated by mainstream media. From Kayleigh McKinney to Sarah Huckabee Sanders to Elise Stefanik, we have witnessed intelligent, conservative women who are consistently discredited, insulted, or dismissed due to their political beliefs. Media organizations such as The View frequently advocate for women's empowerment, but their support abruptly wanes when it comes to women who don't share their beliefs. They use insulting remarks and personal attacks rather than having meaningful conversations or recognizing their accomplishments. Not only does this obvious double standard hurt the women who are singled out, but it also calls into question the very feminism and equality that these media outlets purport to support. The criticism of The Viewpoint indicates that viewers are becoming aware of this hypocrisy and are speaking out against it. Karoline Leavitt did more than merely defend herself. She used The View's attack to reveal the deeper bias in the media. This concerns how conservative voices, particularly those of women, are handled in venues that profess to support diversity and empowerment, not just one incident or controversy. Will viewers demand accountability and ABC scramble to contain the damage, forcing The View to reconsider its strategy? Or will they simply intensify their polarizing strategies? They might find it a little more difficult to recover from this one, but one thing is for sure, Karoline Leavitt emerged from it stronger than before. Please remember to hit the bell for notifications, like and subscribe if you liked this breakdown. See you at the following one.